Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher, and welcome to Not Perfect Zen and day 21. Wow, it's hard to believe it. Day 21 of the Inktober Tangles. And I haven't added anything else on here yet, just saying. Going to be using a Micron 01, a graphite pencil, and a blending stump. I am really enjoying the Inktober Tangles because there are older tangles like this one that I haven't done for a long time. When I first decided to become a CZT, I did every one of the official Zentangle patterns. And it was fun. It was definitely a learning experience. But I don't think I've done this pattern since then. And so it has been interesting to look at all of the different ways that other people have done it and try to come up with something a little bit different to show you. Again, this is OOF from Zentangle, and I will have a couple of links in the description. One is to the step out for this, which is in a Zentangle newsletter, and then a simple way that Stephanie Jennifer did it, and she has a video. And I'm excited to show you how this works. Again, this is the basic pattern. These are some of the ideas that I came up with, some on my own and some by looking at what other people had done. This one at the top, I thought I was using this lighter brown pen, but it ended up being the dark brown. But I liked how people had done it in color. Again, this is the basic pattern, and I will show you how that basic pattern works. Actually, rather than show you first and then do it on this tile, I'm going to do it on the tile. It's really not a difficult tangle. And if you watch the one video by Stephanie Jennifer, she does it in a grid that's kind of, for lack of any other word, wonky. It's not a perfect grid, but I'm going to show you how I make a grid that is closer to what I want to do. And you don't have to start with a grid, but I like it that way. So I'm going to do my first line straight across, and then I'm going to use my thumb as a measurement, and then I'm going to come straight down and make another line. Okay, and then that's going to be my second line. And do the same thing again, put my thumb down, and then I'm making a mark. Let's go ahead and do that again and make another mark. Okay, so this is how I am making a somewhat balanced grid, for lack of anything, a better word for it. Just I want it to be actual squares. So here I'm going to add my next line. I'm going to put my thumb down. Hope you can see what I'm doing. Make a line. I'm going to come next to that. Make a line, come next to that one. Make another line. So it's kind of using your thumb as a ruler. Okay, for the people who like to follow the classic Zentangle and not use any kind of rulers, you can use your fingers as a ruler. Okay, so that's a fairly good grid. And we are going to start by putting like a diamond in each of the corners of the grid that we made. Okay. And this is a pretty good sized grid. And you can make this big enough that you could put patterns inside of these grids. Okay, as I do this, the story is that Rick and Maria went to a museum in New York City, and they were looking at a medieval art collection. And there was a really pretty window that had a pattern that was very similar to the Zentangle pattern floors, Florz. And of course, with Rick and Maria, anywhere they go, they're going to notice patterns, and they are going to try to decide if they could make a Zentangle pattern out of it and work out a way to deconstruct it. And they went into another place where it was very dimly lit. Rick said he took his glasses off. And when he walked out of that place and looked at this window again, he didn't have his glasses on, so it was out of focus. So OOF, the name of this pattern, stands for out of focus. And when he saw that same pattern out of focus, then he came up with this, and that's how they came up with the name. Okay, and if you read through the information on the link for the step outs, one of the things that he says is that we're going to connect these with almost a leaf-like pattern, but he says to start at this one, bring it down, and connect there. Okay, and basically they do that same thing. And I have goofed up on this, so when I'm doing it, I tell myself start at the bottom, and you're going to come across the bottom of that diamond, come down and go to the top of that diamond. Okay, so we're going to do that all the way around. Start at the top. I'm sorry, start at the bottom, go to the top. From the bottom to the top. And once you get into the rhythm of that, it's not a hard tangle at all. Okay, I'm starting at the bottom of this one, going to the top of that one. And we're going across those lines that are already there on the diamonds. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the way they do it in the step outs. They turn, and then we're going to do the same thing. I'm starting at the bottom of this one and coming across the top. And then I'm just going to go across these rows, adding those. And I'm not making them too fat. But it is important to start on the bottom of this diamond and end up at the top of this one. Bottom to top. I had to keep telling myself that last night when I was trying to work this out. Okay. Here's our last one. Of course, you can do this as large or small as you like. Okay, I'm going to turn and continue doing the same thing. So here's the bottom of this one. Go along the bottom to the top. And Rick says to come along this edge of that diamond. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. And I think it helps you to get the shape in there a little bit better. I have really enjoyed playing with some of these older tangles like this and trying to come up with different ideas. Of course, I do look at the Mosaic app. I look at Instagram and other social media to see what other people have done. And that's why we share, right? Is to help others with their ideas. Okay, as I finish this, now you see we have what they call a meta pattern. I've created a circle in here. And keep going across till we have touched all the corners of these diamonds. And I hope you watched the video by Stephanie Jennifer, because she does basically the same thing, but again, it's not a perfectly square grid, and I really like how it comes out. Okay, so there you go. That right there is the basic pattern for OOF, or out of focus. And I am going to take my eraser and go ahead and get rid of the grid because I don't need it. Right, and this is a kneaded eraser, the same way that you knead bread. You can put it into any shape that you need. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is fill in these squares or diamonds. If you turn it this way, it looks a little bit more like a square. And I am kind of combining some ideas that I found from several different people. And I haven't done it completely on a tile like this, so I'm hoping that it comes out nice. I think it'll be okay. I'm playing what if. That's my favorite thing to do with these patterns. What if I do this, or what if I do that? But first thing, I'm filling these in. And again, I would encourage you to look at what other people have done and either repeat it or come up with your own ideas. And I tried several different ideas, and I hope that you like this one that I came up with. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to aura each of these lines. So I'm going to come halfway inside these little diamonds on each of these and just add a simple aura on each of these. And I'm going to do all of them on one side. and then turn my tile like I did when I was creating the basic pattern. Okay, I'm going to turn, do the same thing, coming around this way, and then they should meet right here. That one's a little bit fatter, but it's okay. I just think it's really interesting because, like I said, sometimes I look at these and go, really? I don't know if I want to do that pattern. And then when I start playing with it, it's like, wow, I really like this pattern. And I do. And if you do it big enough, you can even put a complete pattern inside of each of these little areas. Okay, turn. And I am going a little bit fast. As always, you're welcome to slow this video down or speed it up with the YouTube controls. I definitely do that when I'm watching somebody else's video, or fast forward to the end to see how it worked out, if you don't need to see every step. I'm really grateful for all the people who share on YouTube and on their own sites. Okay. Turn. This is day 20, and I'm actually doing this video on October 1st. So I'm really excited that the Inktober Tangles have actually started. And I'm having fun looking at what other people have done, the ideas that they have come up with. It's fascinating to me. Okay, looks like I forgot two over here. Okay, pretty cool, huh? So meta pattern means that we came up with this basic shape, which was just C curves, okay? But out of that, we've got a circle. But if you look at just this section, we've also got like a flower and another flower down here. That's what we mean by meta patterns. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of an aura inside each one of these. So it's going to be a box. And I guarantee mine are not going to be perfect. And I got a comment from a lady this morning after I had posted something about my affirmation and not needing to be perfect. And she said something to the effect that perfection is what comes from my pen onto the paper. I loved that. Whatever you do is perfect. And I try not to worry about comparing myself to other people and the other art that people have done. Just enjoy it, admire it, learn from it. I have learned a lot from so many people. Okay, shut up, Barbara. Mostly love what you do. Okay, so I'm done with the pen. The rest of this is going to be shading. So I'm going to add some graphite just on the edge of each of these auras. Kind of like little ribbons. And I'm not going to fill it all the way in. I just want it here on each edge. And I'm going to do this one circle here so that you can see the effect that that's going to have. And the other thing that I'm going to do, and this was inspired by the video from Stephanie Jennifer, is I'm going to add a little bit of shading there. Now I'm going to take my blending stump and I'm just going to pull this in toward the center, but I'm not going to bring it all the way to the middle. Okay, I want to leave that highlight there in the center on each one of these. And you could really have a bigger effect if you're using like a colored tile, whether it's gray or the brown Renaissance tile, or even on black. So I have not done a full tile with this. I just looked at it and played with it a little bit and thought I would try it for this. Okay, so that's basically what I'm going to do on each one of these. So it shouldn't take too long to add just a little bit of graphite in each of these. You could also do it with pen, which is kind of what I did here. And you can see how I've kind of played. And this was an oops. I was out of focus. Oops. On this one. But this is how I play. And I've had a lot of fun with this. I have really enjoyed the Inktober. And I've noticed posts from other people who said that they really enjoy these challenges because it keeps them looking at new patterns and new ways and new ideas. It keeps you creative. And I hope it keeps you loving your own art. The perfection that comes out of your own hand, your own pen. And again, I have received so many awesome comments since I started doing the Inktober videos for 2021. And I appreciate you guys so much. Makes me so happy to read the comments that I get. And I'm extremely grateful for the donations through Ko-fi, which is ko-fi.com, that supports my channel. Every little bit helps because I'm uncomfortable asking people to pay for a lesson. So I used to take classes at a place where they would put out a jar and said, just if you want, you can leave a love offering. So that's kind of what that is. Coffee.com and buying someone a cup of coffee is saying, hey, I love what you do and hope this helps. And it does help. Okay. I'm anxious to see how this is going to look because I've only done it in a couple of squares, hoping that it's going to look good. I'm hoping I don't miss anything. Okay, so I've got all of those. And now I'm going to add just a little bit of graphite in the corner of each of these. Now you don't need much. I put a lot in the first one that I did. I ended up taking my eraser and taking some of it out. All right, now to the blending stuff. Oh, I did miss one. I see it. All right, remember we're just going to bring this toward the center, but we're not going to touch the center. We want to leave that with a white highlight, which makes it look like these are kind of lifted up a little bit. I do have a class that is on my YouTube channel on shading. If you're interested, it's only $10. I did that when I was first starting out and charging for classes, but I've since decided that I don't want to do that. But because I do have people who paid for that class, I do ask that if anyone else is interested that they pay $10. But it's a good shading class, I must say. One of the things that Rick and Maria thought about when they were doing Zentangle, when they first started it, was keeping their tiles small so that it's easy to turn these, that what they call the elegance of limits. It's a limited size. It's not intimidating when you're trying to do a little bit of art. If you had a really big canvas, then that is definitely intimidating, but doing a small tile is not. Oh, look at that, I missed another one. Lots of little ribbons here. So I'm bringing that just in these two corners for the most part. And I'm trying to stay on the side of my blending stump so that I don't flatten it down. But if you do, I showed in my video yesterday that you can push a paper clip up in here and push that tip back out. All right, did I miss anything? I think I got them. So there's my idea of a simple monotangle of OOF, which stands for out of focus. I hope you have enjoyed this. I'm going to put my chop right here. So the L, two B's. There you go. So let's zoom back out. And here are my ideas that I came up with. Like I said, this one, you can see it. I put some orbs in there. This one is well. This one is printemps. These I like, which are just the shading with highlight. This one I shaded with hatching. And this one kind of reminds me of a button. But there you go. Out of Focus by Zentangle. Thank you again so much for joining me, for watching my videos, for being a part of my channel. And thank you so much to those of you who leave comments and hit the like button and subscribe. And those of you who have left love offerings at my coffee.com site. I appreciate you, and I look forward to doing this again tomorrow. And I hope you have a great day. I hope you're well, and I will see you again next time. Bye.